venerate the housewife. I don't know how many dried up ovaries I walk around next to every day. I barely know any chicks who have kids. All my friends from high school, their cunts are like rotten tea bags, baby free, and will remain that way. And they always say, good. I think kids are gross. They always say childbirth is gross too. And they can't wait to have their career. And I go, what's your career? And they go, scheduling marketing meetings with record labels. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't create a human life. Let's stop making the housewife a sellout job and stop glorifying these shitty careers women take. There's something you can be offended by. Next. Most women are happier at home. They are pretending that they like working, and they're not making money because they don't stay all night at the office. They don't go the extra mile. They don't work all weekend. You're making a mistake. You would be much happier at home with a husband and children.
Oh, boy. Oh,
I mean, I'm literally shaking.
You just said you're single. You don't have a boyfriend. You're what?
That's
you're celibate?
my choice.
Yeah, look, you're miserable. You would be so much happier with kids around you tonight. Imagine coming home, mommy's home.
You know what, Gavin? You're not funny. You're not what you do not do anything.
I'm trying to make you happy.
You do not do anything for the better. Sean, this isn't funny.
Feminism has made women miserable. Women were much happier when housewives were glorified.
It's all well-established hate facts. I'm sorry you don't care enough to have looked it up, but the data says that women have become less happy since feminism, okay? And I blame them being ripped out of the kitchen. No one's saying you have to be a housewife and you can't have a career, but when you trivialize being a housewife and you trivialize being a mom, you do women a huge disservice.
I had a choice to be married, and I chose not to. I have a choice to have kids.
You made a mistake. We'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
I think that your guest here is doing a disservice to all of the viewers and doing a disservice to America by saying that women, that I need to be married, that I would be happier at home. That you're what, miserably married? Just because having a ring
I'm trying to share my joy. You should see my little 2-year-old.
Not everybody has the same life pattern as you.
I know,
okay?
it's the fall.
And not everybody wants to marry somebody in a bootleg seersucker suit and go home to that. I don't want to go home to that.
You don't have to go home to me. Go home to a hunk. Oh gosh.
Jesus. This is absolutely disgusting. And Sean, you should actually speak up for the viewers today and let them know that your daughter should have a choice.
I think women do have a choice. Absolutely, of course.
No one's saying that women shouldn't have a choice.
I'm just trying to share my joy here. Having kids, being a housewife is fucking amazing. Kids are cute. Every time I talk to a 20-something, they tell me they don't want to have kids, and they even say giving birth is disgusting, and they call the kids spoiled brats and say they're whining all the time. And what are they replacing it with? They're having a meeting about scheduling the next expense reports or doing marketing or fashion PR? That's what you're throwing your ovaries in the toilet for? You're giving that all up? You're avoiding this little guy? Look at my 2-year-old son here. This is just him being normal. He's like this 90% of the time.
Ow. I was it.
Inevitably, by the way, when I meet these women, I'll go, oh, well, no one proposed to you your whole life? And she goes, oh, yeah, my boyfriend of 7 years proposed, but I told him I wasn't ready, and I wanted to focus on my career. What's your career? Oh, I organize appointments for my boss. I'm head of social media. I run my company's Facebook page. Or it's always things that are also maternal. Like, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, you show people the house? Yeah. You mean like housewives do? Yeah. Or I work with kids, or I organize stuff. Yeah. You mean like your daughter's dance lessons and your son's soccer practice? You know, stuff moms do. So you actually get all the worst part of motherhood without the making something that is you and gives you eternal life and eternal love.
Now, of course, there is a problem, right? Because they have instincts. We can't mess with God. And they get the doctors talking in their ear, the male doctors, and they go, hey, you only have till you're about 30, 35. And you need to have a baby. He should put a ring on it. You bastard. If you're a doctor watching this, I'm going to kill you. Well, what you do when that happens, right, is you find some lady who have a baby of 45 or 50, and you go, shh, my aunt had one. Don't worry about it. Focus on your career and focus on this until I'm ready for you, right? Sometimes that doesn't work. Here's what you do, okay? You buy a dog. Any kind of garbage dog. Get a rescue pit bull that would kill a baby. Anything. Get a rescue dog, a cheap dog, just grab a dog. And then you go, that's your baby. And then all the instincts, they go into that, and you get another 10 years of sex ring-free. And she goes, Mommy's home, and she has a sticker on her car. It says, Dog Mom. And they talk about their dog. They think a dog is a kid. And when they see a kid, they go, ugh. They look at it, disgust, baby, gross. I abort those all the time. But when they have the kid, they go, I mean the doggy, they go, oh, he's 2 months. Yeah, they talk about him like you give a shit. They say, oh, he thinks he's a little dog, but he's a big dog, blah, blah, blah. They pick up the feces and they walk around and they talk about how gross diapers are while they carry a bag of dog feces.
I saw you at the dog park yesterday. You were very excited about your dog. You asked me, you said, how many months is he? And then you were worried that it was a she and not a he, because that's important because it's a dog. It's a fucking dog, ladies. You're not a dog mom. You're a lady with a dog. You see, in the city, these spinsters see your kids and they look at them with disdain. Men look at your kids and go, ooh, those things are bad news. They mean I'm going to stop getting laid and I got to start getting serious and put a ring on it. I don't like those things. They symbolize me not partying. Women know that they should be getting those, but they don't. And the kids are like a hole in the plot to spinsters. They go, oh, I'm having desires, but it's like showing a junkie heroin. So they focus their attention on your dog. And, oh, how many months is he? Is that a boy or a girl? What an angel. And I go, I guess it's technically a boy, but who cares? It's a dog. And then they look at my kids and go, oh, except the Puerto Ricans. I don't know why, but the Puerto Ricans go, God bless you, God bless you. Stop pretending your dog is a child. You've been duped. Men who want to have sex with you beyond your expiration date filled up your maternal instincts with a dog. We plugged it in the hole, and now you go, Mommy's home, Mommy's home. And when we talk about how pathetic you are, you go, I'm going to have a kid eventually. No, you're not. Oh, yeah, my aunt is 42. We have taken the most special thing from a woman, the fact that she can breed, the fact that she can make a human being, and we've stripped that away and said, now be equal. Now you just made a shitty dude. Now they're just a dude who can't do pull-ups, and they think that's empowering. I saw a woman in the New York Post the other day. She had 2 gigantic pigs, and she goes, they're my babies. I mean, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Those aren't your babies. Those are kids. I mean, those are fucking pigs. Now you're getting me brainwashed. You don't have to only have dogs for kids. You can also have a chicken. Look at this. Remember this woman? She rescued a chicken. It loves to make the bed in the morning, and she learned so much about the environment. She moved to the country. Ladies, especially white ladies, stop being in relationships. Stop having kids. You're ruining the environment. So this is a great example of these natural instincts just sort of bastardized. The same way...
Wonderful sentient being that just wants to be loved, like all of us, just like a cat or a dog.
Just pause. First he loved making the bed. Then then he seemed comfortable. Now he's sentient. Now the divine intervention is involved. No, you took divine intervention and you flushed it down the toilet. A chicken is not a replacement for this. A human being is. Am I crazy, or is this a beautiful example of women wanting and needing to have kids? Look, I'll say it now. I think 5% would be better off in the workforce. I think 5% shouldn't have kids, but that's 95 that would be happier loving a little bambino of their own, smelling his little angel breath, holding him at night, breastfeeding him, helping him get to school, seeing him say, bye, Mom, coming home after work, if you have to work, and Mommy's home. I mean, yay, Mommy's home. They run, they hug her legs. They cry when she goes away on a 3-day business trip. That's way better than a chicken. Just like a dog or a human baby. Just pause. Do you notice that? They used to say, dog moms used to say, this is just like having a human baby. Now we have chicken moms saying, this is just like having a dog baby. What's next? Caterpillar moms saying, this is just like having a chicken baby? When does it end? You're going to have a pet fly, pet bacteria? This is my little petri dish. I'm a bacteria mommy. It's just like having a fly baby. Women themselves are beautiful creatures and gifted wonderful things. When I rail against feminism, I'm not railing against women. I'm railing against broken women. And I'm saying feminism does this to woman. These things could be feeding babies. Instead, they're getting in the way while she drives out of her city to go and really, truly focus on the development of her goddamn rooster. Ladies, you are fawning over dogs because you've been brainwashed. You have pulled babies out of your uterus, both literally when you had abortions and mentally by removing this thing from your brain. The reason you come home and say, "Hi, mommy's home," to your stupid rescue pits is because you've been fooled, and it's driving everyone with a brain nuts. You've replaced the best thing about you with a fucking stupid dog. In the suburbs, it's the inverse. They look at your dog and they go, "Your dog's running out on the street." You go, "I don't care if he dies." And they go, "Okay." "Oh my God, are these your kids? How old are they?" "Oh, my daughter's 8. They have fulfilled their biological imperative. And I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm not saying you need to be a housewife. But for the vast majority, it seems to work out great. And when they pursue this natural instinct, when they go with the grain, I'm going to say 95% of them are happy. Happiness pervades the suburbs. And a great way to gauge happiness is how much they like kids. I have someone who works at hospice, and I'm not sure that's how you say it. He works with dying people. And he says there's 2 types of old people in these places. They're the ones that have a legacy, that have children, and the ones that don't. And he said there's a sort of a serenity around the ones who have kids, and especially when their brood is there at their last moments. And he goes, there's something disturbing about the ones who don't have kids. They're apoplectic with regret. So, ladies, you got to figure out, if you're 25, it gets hard after 30. If you want 3, 1 is lame, 2 is boring. 3 is really the ideal number. It takes 8 years to have 3, so you kind of have to start in your mid-20s if you want to do that. If you want to do that, you got to get moving and get off this myth that all women need careers. If you are a career woman, fine, pursue that, but make sure you're one of these weird exceptions. It's either rich or incredibly talented. Do you want to be on your deathbed going, "Goodbye, loved ones. I hope my DNA has a fulfilling 1,000,000 years." Or do you want to be on your deathbed going, "I made seating plans." And then once you have kids, you'll realize you'll have this huge impetus to create a legacy, to make money. You'll have a reason for living. And that's why we're all here at the end of the day, is to breed. And by the way, I've made this mistake, so I'm screaming from experience. I don't want you making the same mistakes I have. I wish I could have had them all sooner. I was talking to a mom the other day who's my age, and she goes, "What the hell were we waiting for?" And I screamed, "I don't know! Now I'm going to be 60 when they graduate high school. When they graduate college, I'm going to be like Katharine Hepburn on Golden Pond. Oh, you're my knight in shining armor. Going out drinking with my son with a little thing of fucking geriatric laxative. Oh, I'm so proud of you, boys." Anyway, the big takeaway here is that the Lord imbued women with instincts, maternal instincts, where they want to love and care for things. He gave men these hunting instincts where they want to go and conquer stuff. And I think it's important that we accept those instincts. If you want to ignore them, fine, okay, that's fair. But you know that you look ridiculous when you say, "I don't want kids," and then, like Femke Janssen, you have a massive party for your dog that includes 17 balloons because he's 17 years old, and that's some sort of an accomplishment, and your baby. There's no such thing as a dog mom. You're a dog owner. I'm sorry, if you had a bunch of miscarriages and you're infertile, that's sad. You could have adopted, though. But to make it sound empowering and to try to get all the things that moms get, like, I've heard of people talking about maternal leave for dog moms. Well, what? Did you birth it? Well, you need to go to some sort of science museum because you're a mutant. Now, before I know I'm making you feel bad, ladies, I also want to shit on men who take a woman at 29 or 25, dump her at 29, use up her valuable fertile years, but because they're too pussyish, because they're too fucking wimpy to propose, they just let her eggs dry up and then kick her to the curb. Fuck you, you wimps. Propose, you pussies. You've ruined that woman's fucking life. She won't have kids. Those kids won't have kids. You got rid of maybe 1 million people. You're basically Hitler. You committed a genocide with your laziness just because you're horny.
Meanwhile, you keep getting all the sex you want, and no one goes, "You took away her best years," because when she gets too old, you go, "Oh, you're a cougar now. You're a badass. And you watch Sex in the City. It's cool to be single. You don't want a boyfriend?
And the dodo is amazing at this. They put out this awesome video that shows you how much better it is to be a dog mom than to be in a relationship. Life with boyfriend versus life with dog. Let's roll this for a second. Look at this. What does the boyfriend do? Gives you pills, walks away. Why is it so low res all of a sudden? Life with dog, what does he do? He loves you and he holds you. Be a dog mom. Don't have kids. Don't get married.
They make that into a glasses half full thing. I like being empowered. Oh, I like the fact that my husband dumped me. Eat, pray, love. I'm going around the world. Then she goes around the world and she meets a hunk in pajama pants, yoga pants or whatever. And then she meets him. Then he dumps her when he gets bored and she seems too old. He trades her in for a younger model and she goes, good, I like that. I get to order food whenever I want. We've broken these women, and it's sick and sad and wrong. And the reason that they are able to turn that into a positive is because of evolution. It's Darwinian. You see, men have evolved to be stressed out all the time. Oh my God, am I going to kill a woolly mammoth? Oh, I got to get up early. Oh, I got to get a better spear. Women are in the cave, and they go, this is fun. Don't worry about it, honey. You'll get a woolly mammoth. It's okay. Glass is half full. Hello, little cave babies. Daddy's going to catch us a woolly mammoth today. Everything is happy. Everything is good. So when we use them and turn them into whores, they go, this is good. I'm an empowered whore. It's fun. I get to eat Thai food.
But then I get to go home with whomever I want.
What?
Which is usually
women love that.
Serious drifter who loves Thai food.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm still horny.
Stop. Okay. I talk to single women sometimes and they go, you know any guys? And I go, look, if you want a guy, all you have to do is wear high heel shoes and be around during last call. And they go, yeah, I know. I was looking for something slightly better than that. Thank you. Women are not looking for one-night stands with drifters. Women aren't looking for one-night stands, really. Oh, yeah, I am. Screw it. Yeah, whatever I've brainwashed you to say. I'm not listening to it anymore. Women are looking for loving relationships. They're looking for someone to care for them that's going to hold them. They're not saying, gee, I wish I could just screw everyone I want, because they can. Women can screw everyone they want up until they get married, and they don't, because it's not that fun. It's kind of gross to be plugged by a million strangers. Go ahead.
I'm not anymore. Marriage.
Did you catch that?
You can say no.
It just seems malicious. It seems like she's out to sabotage the modern world traditionalism. And she talks about how great it is. And you're looking at a lonely spinster who talks about how great her life is and wants you to do it too. And you think, what is your gripe? Are you just evil? And one could be forgiven for thinking that about women these days in this sort of post-feminist era. I've got a friend who's been falsely accused of rape, and going through the evidence with him, I just start wondering if these women are dark. And then I realize, no, it's what we've done to them. And by we, men are hugely culpable for this. It's what we've done to them that makes them act like erratic robots shooting out sparks and wrecking everything they touch. Because we sort of messed with the system.
Women are magical. They are sentient, as Ann Coulter describes. They are sentient. But you take the magic orb thing that's in Iron Man's chest, and you pull that out, and that's the ability to give birth and all that wonderful stuff that comes with it, the nurturing, all the nice things you're seeing here, misdirected.
Remember Iron Man? He's got that glowing thing in his chest. These feminists, these women act like someone removed that glowing ball, that disc, and then just replaced it with shit.
Half of these women want to be rescued by a knight in shining armor. The other half want to sabotage society because they're bitter, old, dead ovary cat women. In other words, let's stop listening to them. I've heard right-wing conspiracy theorists say that, oh, now this and the dodo, they're both against marriage, they're both against kids, they're both against, a normal family. Aren't they both started by the Huffington Post? Didn't Ariana Huffington, didn't her husband dump her after he realized he was gay? Didn't he leave her for a man? And they say, oh, she's just like a bitter old cow who's mad that marriage screwed her over and wants to ruin it for everyone. No, dude, wrong. If anyone knows the trouble with marriage, it's someone whose husband turned out to be gay, all right? You don't need a husband. You don't need a boyfriend. Don't have kids because A, the world's going to be like apocalyptic by the time they're older, and B, there's already too many kids. That's why the world is apocalyptic in the first place. Do the math, geniuses. You don't have to have sex with drifters, and you don't have to pretend your miserable life is fun. Ladies, I understand you screwed up and you let your ovaries dry up and you're all alone. I understand that we have a lot of culpability for that. We keep dumping you, and a lot of men don't have the balls to propose. But please stop telling you that your miserable life will be good for other women. Women? Yeah, you heard me. Worm women.
Now, when you say this to people who haven't thought about it before, aka liberals, they say, oh, sexist pig, Western chauvinist asshole Gavin McInnes is a caveman who wants to hit women on the head with a club and drag them back to the cave because he says men capture big game and women nurture around the cave. That is generally the truth, okay? Women do tend to those rules. And liberals, I want to explain something to you that's very basic that you don't seem to get. There's general and there's universal. Generally, men and women adapt to their biological roles. These are biological roles that we see in chimps too. Baby chimps like to play with trucks that are, when they're male, baby chimps that are female like to play with dolls. Generally, that is the same with male and female human beings. Universally, of course, there are exceptions.
I'm often crapping on feminists and telling women they're dumb for letting their ovaries dry up and they're wasting their lives and they're slut-walking their way into spinster hell. I call New York an elephant's graveyard for ovaries, and I'm pretty mean about it all. But I think it's worth throwing some of the blame on dudes, especially millennials. Ladies can't get married and start a life if no one's proposing, and a lot of these guys are too pussy to propose, and that is because they are getting the milk for free, so they refuse to buy the cow. And they are happy to do this for decades upon decades, well into their 40s.
And you can keep having sexy time after sexy time, and you don't have to put a ring on it. Because what they did here is they told women that marriage is for losers. And then they go, what about gay marriage? That's very sacred. I don't quite get that part, but
Gay marriage is the only marriage that matters.
But when it comes to heterosexuals, you say, what? You want to be a slave and be in a kitchen? No, you want to be cool and watch porn with me. And then when I'm bored, you get the hell out of here and I don't pay for nothing. And they go, yeah, that sounds good. Because it's badass, right? You go, yeah, it's a badass. You're a total badass.
It used to be men had to court women to have sex. Now they just go, well, why buy the cow when I'm getting the milk for free? And you can have slut walks, and women are fuck buddies, and sex is cool, and there's no ramifications. In fact, I read recently an article where this young girl was saying, it sucks because sometimes you catch feelings during these hookups. Yeah, that sucks. Love sucks. Having to court a woman and then provide for her for the rest of her life is lame. You should just keep having sex with women, using them as a colostomy bag for your semen for their entire lives. Slut walk her way well into her 40s where she can have a lonely life with her dog. Is that sexist or feminist?
And then, well, what if I get pregnant? You get an abortion. That's cool. Hey, abortion, having a baby's gross. That's gross. You need to get abortion. And they go, okay. And you make abortion seem like it's a feminist thing. And it's crazy. About half the women in this country are pro-life. But you just make those women crazy religious nuts. And you go, no, you're cool. You have a slut walk. They go on slut walks in their underwear. And you have to pretend like, oh, don't do that. It's too crazy. You're too badass. And then they're like, they get the chick with big tits and they go, we go, hey, do the walk of shame, but say it's cool. And she does it. And then the chicks, they do anything. They're disgusting. Anything you can think of, they do. And then they leave. And when they get mad, you go get a job. They go into the workforce. They work their asses off and they pay half the rent. They pay for everything. Work. Then you use them as a sex thing. And then you get rid of them. It's the best thing in the world.
All right, so here's a guy getting laid all the time, having sex with Kimbra, who is an 11, okay? And of course, the relationship is all about him and how it makes him feel. Oh, you got addicted to a certain kind of sadness, right? What he means is monogamy. He wasn't getting laid as much. So then he thinks, you know what? I got hit on at a party. I think I'm going to dump her. So he makes it about him. He makes her feel guilty. And she says, I guess we could still be friends, what?
Then I'll admit it, I was glad it was over, so I could go screwing all those girls because you weren't letting me. You didn't have to cut me off. What he means is, I still wanted you available for booty calls. What, we were like nothing? Yes, dickhead. You can't be friends with your ex. In fact, that trivializes it more than her not hanging out with you anymore. Stoop so low, you dumped her, you fool! Oh, she changed her number because you were calling her at 4 in the morning looking for a drunken blowjob. Infuriating, isn't it? That these men can whine about not getting laid as much as they want to. This is why I think men invented feminism. Bra burning, all this stuff, it maximizes the tits for dudes. Men have to know that they will not be getting the milk for free forever. They have to be clear that eventually you have to shit or get off the pot. 25 to 30 is when it starts mattering for you. Go ahead and have your fun. I understand you got a party, and I don't know why you need an X amount of penises in your life, but okay, you do. 25 to 30, you got to start letting him know that this is serious. And if he's wavering, then go on a date with someone. Let him see you with someone else. Let him see your intrinsic value, because you are valuable. And I know the feminists told you to slut walk your way off a cliff like a lemming, but your chastity matters. All right? And I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to dump him for being a loser wimp who just sees you as a booty call. You're going to get on with your life. You're going to get a real man who cares about you. And he's going to sit there going, well, you didn't have to cut me off. You didn't have to change your number. I want to keep calling you. If he's not putting a ring on it ever, and that's not in the future, dump his ass, girl.
So, guys, shit or get off the pot. You've had your party years. Around 30, you got to start getting serious. You got to start breeding. Grow some balls and put a ring on it. This wedding ceremony isn't just a random piece of paper. The tradition exists for a reason. It's a big fucking deal, and you won't understand it until you're on the other side. I'm telling you from the other side, it's awesome. Come aboard. And ladies, you have a due date. You have a best before date. They're called ovaries. So start getting serious around 25, because around 30, it's last call for alcohol. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's a pretty sad state of affairs that I have to tell young millennials to get out there and get horny, and I have to tell women to understand their value and know that they got to get a ring on it. But that's the situation we're in. So I guess all I'm saying is, be normal human beings. We haven't reinvented the wheel. The system you've come up with, which is pure sabotage, is not better. Stop being a doggy mom. Stop being a video game player. Grow up and get real. I promise you won't regret it.
We've been breeding. We've been doing this for 250,000 years. People escaped Siberian saber-toothed tigers. They escaped the bubonic plague. They survived the Great Depression. They finally got here. They finally made you after 250,000 years. And you go, I don't want it anymore. Don't you realize you're going to be extinct? There's going to be no more feminists in one generation. Oh, wait. Oh, forget everything I said. As you were.
Like, there's scientific consensus that the lives of children are going to be very difficult, and it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. You know, is it okay to still have children?
The point is that it's really bad to have kids, and you're adding a lot to the problem in a big way. It's hard to quantify exactly how, because the number changes so fast. But I will say that the media has been really cool about this, and they've pointed out, by the way, that not having kids helps fight climate change, especially not having white kids. You know, they had Macron there saying that African people are having too many kids. That's not true. So when Macron says this, he has to understand that Africans and refugees, we need them in this country because they don't use up a lot of resources, but our population is declining. And so we need more bodies, but not greedy bodies. Like when you have white babies, they use up like planes, and they have sub-zero fridges, and they do a lot more damage to the environment. Anyway, it's complicated, but you don't have to worry about it because you're not having kids. This is really what feminism is about. I mean, why do you think they only had pro-choicers at the Women's March? Because they don't want babies, they don't want housewives, they don't want moms, they don't want dads. They see the nuclear family as a Handmaid's Tale.
Gay marriage is the only marriage that matters. Gay adoption is the only time they should have babies. Anyone should have babies. We are overpopulated and it's killing the environment. Abortion has been the best thing for white people. The irony here with all of this is it's guys like Roosh and I who are trying to help society, trying to encourage love, trying to encourage intercourse, trying to get people laid, trying to get people married, trying to get them to have babies. We are the evil villains, and these dead ovary feminists, I call them, the DOFs, are the ones claiming victimhood. It's crazy!
Which one of these is yours?
Her.
Oh, that's nice. Good job.
Asked her to marry me.
No way!
Yeah.
You're kidding. He just proposed, and I assume it was a yes. Let's get a shot of you. Come over here. So you guys are getting married. That's very exciting.
We are.
You're going to make babies like right away?
Maybe next year.
Yeah, you might as well get going, right?
Get it over with. We're getting old.
I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't want to be showing at the wedding." Fuck that.
Yeah.
Just get
I love my belly. I already have a baby.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys already have a baby? Yeah. Oh, good. I was worried it wasn't yours. So how long have you been together for?
It's going to be 4 years this Tuesday.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what kind of baby do you have?
A little girl.
Oh, a little girl. You want to know the secret to make boys? You have to plunge. You go super deep.
So you better pay
Super deep. Right, you stand. You don't do doggy on your knees. You do standing doggy, and you plunge down like you're unclogging a toilet. And then, when you're done, you collapse on her, like a folding lawn chair, and then you hold it there for like a minute. Because male sperm, for whatever reason, is lazy, and you got to drop it off right at the front door, or it won't go in. 2. Yeah, I made 2 and a chick. I made a chick and I went, uh-oh, we gotta make some boys. And then I did the lawn chair technique. Boys just shooting out of her, plume, plume, plume.
A lady friend of mine just sent me an article called 5 Reasons Being a Single Mom is Way Better Than Being a Married Mom. I don't usually read mom blogs because they tend to just be feel-good claptrap that says, whatever my shitty situation is, totally rocks. It's just there to make you feel good. They don't have to do any research. I don't think they have one fact checker in the entire genre of writing. But I read this with a critical mind because someone sent it to me and asked me to, and I was disgusted. I am noticing there is this push for divorce all the time. I know of a couple there, they weren't married, but she went to see him, her therapist, who I suspect was a bitter old dumped divorcee. That's just my interpretation. But she went in there and said, I'm not happy. And the woman said, dump him. You're not happy. Get rid of it. And they did. He was about to propose to her. She's miserable, calls him crying all the time. I can tell you at least half a dozen of stories like that. And also with my married friends, every time I hear about them going to couples therapy, it always ends badly. I was talking to a couple once, and they said, yeah, we go in there, and they say, the therapist says, do you have sex when you're on vacation, when the kids aren't around and you can have sex? And they go, oh, yeah, we breed like rabbits. And then he says to the lady, it seems to be a woman, what would you have said if we said no? And then she said, well, we would start coming up with an exit plan. Can you imagine you go see your priest and you're having trouble with your faith? And he says, well, do you pray to God when you're about to get in a car accident? Do you ask the Lord? Or when you're hungover, do you pray to God to stop barfing? And if you said no, I would come up with an exit plan. Why is there an exit plan? I mean, we're not talking about abusive relationships here. We're talking about marriages that need some work. And the first reaction always seems to be, boom, let's get rid of this. Well, you can't get rid of it, okay? I'm sorry you're unhappy. Fix it. This isn't about you. It's about the kids. So grow up. Being a single mom sucks. It sucks for everyone, especially the children you brought into this world.
Do you understand what you've done here, baby boomers? Your invention of divorce has traumatized my generation. Almost none of my friends have kids. I looked them up on Facebook. I don't care if we're talking city, urban, rural, suburban. None of them have kids. You know why? Because you traumatized them with your stupid divorce.
They go, I had a shitty childhood. My parents were totally selfish. I only saw my dad on the weekends, and I don't want to duplicate that. So, way to go, divorcers. If your husband was cheating and he kicked you to the curb and you're left all alone here with this kid, that's terrible. That's a tragedy. And you have my sympathy. But my problem here with these I want to call them women's magazines, online magazines, is they glorify this terrible situation and try to say that it rocks. Because women today are all about rocking and rolling and you're a badass. And I'm reminded of, I was at the airport recently and I heard this guy in the next stall. And he was changing a kid, maybe a 7-year-old boy, and he had feces all over him. Sorry to get so graphic, but I guess the kid had pooed his pants. He had a wet fart. Not a big deal. I get him once a year. And I heard him yelling, "God damn it, what's the matter with you?" And then I heard him say, "There's something wrong with you." And it gets sometimes with dads where you go, I'm going to have to intervene because that is going a little too far. Don't say there's something wrong with him. Jesus Christ. He's mad. The kid's crying. They go out, and I follow their shoes because I had to see who this was. And he sits with his mom. And then the dad was mad. He just looked at his newspaper. He had cleaned up the mess, I presume, thrown the underwear in the garbage. And then the mom was holding the boy and consoling him. You see what's going on here? Yin and yang, good cop, bad cop. That's what a well-rounded person has. You can't have all the hair stroking. It's okay. You just sharted. And you can't have all there's something wrong with you, idiot. I just threw your underwear in the garbage. You need the balance. You need to know that you have to be more organized about your bowel movements, but you also have to know there's nothing wrong with you. You just had an accident. And when you remove those things from the equation, it's not like they get a beautiful balance over the course of the week. No, they get 5 of too much mommy and 2 of too much daddy. Not enough of both. It's not about you. It's not good just to have a mom making the rules. Dads seem to be better at rules. They're sort of prison guards, but the mom is there for checks and balances. It's a team effort. Just in case you didn't like it when I said it's child abuse to knowingly become a single mom, I would like to direct you to Sarah McClanahan at Princeton University, who suggests boys are more likely to end up in jail or in prison by the time they turn 30 if they are raised by a single mom. Again, race is skewing that stat. But lest you think this is all about rich and poor, it's true that poor families, this is by the way from a Slate article I believe, it's true that poorer families are more likely to be headed by a single mom, but even factoring out class shows a clear difference. Research by the Economic Mobility Project at Pew suggests that children from intact families are also more likely to rise up the income ladder if they were raised in a low-income family and less likely to fall into poverty if they were raised in a wealthy family. You see? And also, by the way, this lady has girls, so let's focus on the young girls that are getting this totally awesome mom 5 days, 5 days a week. The Bruce Ellis University of Arizona, this is Bruce Ellis of the University of Arizona, he found that 1/3 of girls whose fathers left the home before they turned 6 ended up pregnant as teenagers, compared with just 5% of girls whose fathers were there throughout their childhood. You got that? 33% pregnant teens, only 5% pregnant teens when dad stuck around.
And then when she's maybe a single mom because she gets bored of abortions, you go, single moms rock. Marriage means nothing. I got to go. I'm not happy. And they go, okay, peace. Maybe come by if you're horny sometime. I'm telling you, man, this feminism thing is the best deal dudes have ever had, ever. You don't just get the milk for free. You get all the milk you want, and the cow is happy. The cow thinks it's cool to give you milk. You don't have to buy the cow. It's called feminism, and if you have a problem with it, you're probably a pussy.
That's really what feminism is. It's a giant suicide bomber that's meant to blow up tradition. And I'm telling you, it only leads to death and suffering. We have equality in this country. Let's start enjoying it and being normal human beings for a change.